Yes, just like the indictment said, the story was about Hillary Clinton's email, so it backs up the government's case that Comey was authorizing leaks to through his staff to reporters concerning a Hillary Clinton case, just like they argued.
So pay attention, because things are very black and white right now. It's very easy to see what is wrong and what is right. We've already identified Obama as the evil one.
FISA information exposing Comey and Hillary and the rest. It just won't go away. They keep covering it and getting it out. Many more are getting arrested across the USA for crimes they never thought would make the light of day. We're going to see that. The old rules are going away. We're watching the enemy lose control of everything they built for decades, for centuries. What a great time to be alive. Witness the old guard fall apart. Lots to cover, lots to unveil. We're going to keep it going. Here we go.
The Democrat Party has become dangerously, violently radicalized. And you're right, Sean. I get death threats every day. My wife gets death threats every day. We've obviously had to deal with pretty extensive doxing campaigns. But the truth is, Sean, that people across the country, across the government, across law enforcement, who are fighting for safety, security, prosperity, are dealing with radical left communist threats and attacks all day long. And President Trump, of course, came within centimeters of being assassinated.
1 millimeter.
During the middle of his rally on live television by a wicked, evil assassin, and then only weeks later, a second assassin, if not for a Secret Service agent spotting the barrel of that gun, would have taken President Trump's life, saved by the hand of God himself. We are dealing with a party that is so extreme that considers its opponents to be its mortal enemies, that dehumanizes its opposition, that justifies violent attacks against federal law enforcement, assaults against ICE and Border Patrol, that sides over and over again with criminal aliens, MS-13 gangbangers. Look at how they venerated and worshipped and praised the MS-13 child smuggler that they dubbed the Maryland Dad, somebody who beat his wife and smuggled children and was a member of a terrorist organization, and they held him up as their hero. This is a dangerous party. This is a dangerous movement. And what you're seeing in New York City with Mamdani, that is the future. A party that believes in no bail, a party that believes in no jail, a party that believes in no borders. But here's one group they do want to put in jail, their political enemies.
Just a reminder, they have to keep letting the folks know how it all plays out. President Trump said the many fake polls that are being shown by the radical left media all slanted heavily toward Democrats and far-left wingers. Of course, that hasn't changed. In the fair polls and even the reasonable polls, I have the best numbers I have ever had, and why shouldn't I? I ended 8 wars, created the greatest economy in the history of our country, kept prices, inflation, and taxes down, and am setting standards for right track, wrong track for a future USA. Fake news will never change. They are evil and corrupt. But as I look around my beautiful surroundings, I say to myself, oh, look, I'm sitting in the Oval Office. And they're not. And they did all they could since he got in the office to stop him. As a matter of fact, it came out. If you're looking at your screen, Mike Davis put this out. Trump U.S. Attorney Lindsey Halligan files public response to James Comey's motion to dismiss his indictment for vindictive prosecution. Here we go.
All right, let's get down to some big bombshell news that just moved a couple of minutes ago over at justthenews.com. We've been following the story of James Comey. He's indicted for lying to Congress, saying he never authorized any of his staff to leak to the media. And late last week, as we told you, he played the victim card. I'm being maliciously prosecuted because Donald Trump hates me. Well, today, the Kash Patel FBI and the lead attorney prosecuting his case, Lindsey Halligan, well, they responded, and they responded with a lot of evidence. What did they respond with? James Comey's own emails and his own handwritten notes. And what do they show? They show that James Comey was clearly aware that his top aide was providing information anonymously to the news media. Not only was he aware of it, he wrote in a private email, "Good job, my friend," actually congratulating him when Dan Richman, one of his top lieutenants, told him what he had just done with the New York Times. Yes, just like the indictment said, the story is about Hillary Clinton's email, so it backs up the government's case that Comey was authorizing leaks to through his staff to reporters concerning a Hillary Clinton case, just like they argued. But they went a little bit further. It turns out that when Kash Patel found those burn bags in that secret room where a whole bunch of FBI evidence was sitting, they found something special. Some handwritten notes by James Comey. What do those handwritten notes show? He appeared to be aware in September 2016 that of the U.S. intelligence intercept that Hillary Clinton had approved a plan to hang a fake Russian shingle on Donald Trump's house, campaign house. Now, that's important because the handwritten notes don't match with James Comey's testimony. James Comey told Congress, that doesn't sound familiar. I don't think I ever knew about that. He wrote about it in his hand notes. And finally, one will ask, well, why would James Comey do this? What was the motive? Today's emails that were just released in the court filing give us one other answer. He wrote to Dan Richman, his lieutenant, that he fully expected soon to be working for President-elect Hillary Clinton. That's right from the emails. So he was waiting to work for Hillary Clinton, and he thought that Hillary Clinton would be grateful for the way he did things in handling her email case. That wasn't what the victim card I think James Comey was planning to play. But all of that emails, all of those letters, all those court filings, even the handwritten notes, we just posted them at justthenews.com. You can go check them out today. We'll have more of that breaking news all throughout the night.
Pretty amazing how they continue to uncover all this. Remember, when we're looking at this and following everything that comes from Just the News, we had that video clip we played where somebody paid him a visit to let him know we enjoy your reporting, and he ended up showing up, many believe, visited by the secret team and using him to get information out to we the people. Representative Jim Jordan said the Biden-Harris DOJ targeted President Trump, the sitting members of Congress, conservative organizations they didn't agree with, parents at school board meetings, Catholics they wanted to destroy people's lives, and bankrupt them from legal fees for no reason. And Democrats still won't admit they weaponized the government. They don't want to talk about it. Yet they're continuing to hold the government hostage, demanding $1.5 trillion in new spending, including Medicaid expansions for over 1 million illegal aliens, some of the worst of the worst.
They would spend $1.5 trillion of your taxpayer funds. Included in that is want to use to restore free health benefits to illegal aliens. They want to spend billions in wasteful left-wing spending projects in foreign countries on things like LGBTQ plus awareness in the Horn of Africa, all sorts of things. I could give you a long list, and we've said it here before. They want to spend $500 million to prop up left-leaning news organizations.
And so we've seen this before, but it's a reminder that these guys want everything in the bill to support them, to support the illegal aliens and more. Now, David Hogg, remember that guy, this young kid? Somehow he went from this actor in Florida, I believe, to acting on Communist News Network. I guess he got promoted because he just supposedly does great work. He got annihilated on CNN by Jennings.
The entire reason the government is not open right now is because Democrats refuse to be complicit in having millions of Americans, including 100,000 in Kentucky, your home state, if I'm remembering correctly, Scott, that rely on ACA, that would see their premiums rise several.
Which you can deal with separately. It doesn't have to be, those two things do not go together.
But the way that they're doing this right now, they're combining both.
Voting to support the budget still doesn't, if you keeping it closed doesn't fix the ACA. The ACA needs to be reformed. Healthcare needs to be reformed. This is a way bigger question.
You guys failed at that last time. The whole thing was repeal and replace. You had a trifecta. You tried this. You failed.
But that's not true. They're still in the concept of a plan stage.
No, in terms of
they've been in the concept stage since 2000.
But David, you would admit that the ACA was a Democrat legislation, yes? And you would admit that the subsidies that we're talking about now were passed by Democrats, yes. And you would admit that the sunset provision in the subsidies, which comes up at the end of the year, was in place because of Democrats, yes. Now you want to make it a Republican problem. These are not the same issues. You could open the government today, and then you could negotiate with with Republicans about ACA. And by the way, my suspicion is, and you know this, there are probably, and I know there are some House Republicans that would love to negotiate on it, but under duress, under a hostage-taking situation, connecting disconnected issues, and now you're throwing SNAP onto it. You're throwing all the federal workers who aren't being paid onto it, all because of this fight that you wandered into because of your wing of the Democratic Party. You all led to this SNAP crisis. You all led to this crisis of the government being closed, and you don't know how to get out of it.
Oh, wow. It's so wonderful to watch a kindergartner face somebody who's already finished his doctorate degree. It's just unmatched, this poor guy hog. He's probably thinking, why did I get myself into this? You know, we had a great interview the other day for these Wave watches. The power of frequency. I've learned so much about it. And I wanted to let you know, it's in the description box below, the Wave Watch. Improve your health with sound frequencies. And I couldn't believe it at first, but it's actually been working. Here's a soundbite from Linda Bamber Olson, Wave Watch inventor.
Because we're not doing that. We went more the direction of pills. And so that's why people have a little harder time realizing that their body can absorb frequencies through their skin and their bones. They don't have to hear it. So that was so important for me to be able to do that because I'm a deaf person. I'm completely deaf in one ear, and I've had trouble with hearing my whole life. And so I wanted a tool that I could use, you know, that I didn't have to hear.
Oh, wow. Wow. I know a lot. Yeah, so many folks. You know, I met her on the cruise, and I tell you what, we had several folks that had the watch on, and we were testing them out. My back started feeling much better. My best friend actually put it on, had a hard time bowling. His left knee was in a lot of pain. And next thing you know, he was bowling. He bowled 4 games. He said, I could go 10 more. He couldn't even believe it. He normally wraps everything up. He wraps his hand up and more. And he's like, what's going on? This thing is absolutely amazing. They have them in special colors like rose gold, also graphite. They improve your sleep, reduce stress, fight pain. They boost energy. And they are beautiful watches also. So when you use them, you can change to so many different frequencies for your brain health, for your pain, for sleep, and so much more. I encourage you to go check it out, folks. In the description box below. Go check it out. You will be absolutely amazed and reclaim your peace.
It's on Republicans to figure this out. They control the House, the Senate, and the White House.
No, but let me.
And so I'm not going to sit here
But you're in the House, but you know in the Senate, there's a 60-vote threshold. The president is calling for that, the nuclear option, to get rid of that. And I hear you're saying Republicans are making a choice. Democrats are also making a choice.
Democrats are also making a choice. Wow, that's from CNN, out of all places. Makes you wonder how they're slowly going to wake the people up, right? Some assume that CNN's been taken over by the good guys and they're slowly having their way, getting little talking points here and there out. Others assume that they're just trying to play both sides a little bit just to keep, try to bring some new people in. But it's kind of weird when they bring a dude dressed up in drag with long hair and a dress on to try to make sense of everything. It just doesn't make sense why they continue to do that, but they do. And so 21 states that refuse to send their SNAP data to the USDA are California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, and of course, D.C. It's in the mix too. They're stonewalling because they know the fraud is massive. When you hide the books, it's never to protect the honest folks. It's to cover up the rot. Meanwhile, the states that did cooperate are already exposing exactly the kind of abuse the left swears does not exist. And so we got word that the Trump administration will provide only half of usual food stamp benefits in November. Oh, maybe the other half could be all the illegals. Maybe they're finally going to figure it out. Get them out of there. We'll see.
I'm going to just be honest. Trump was God ordained. I'm going to just say God meant for Trump to be put in office because he's trying to teach y'all a lesson. And a lot of people won't understand this. But since I understand it, let me tell you. The best thing Trump did was shut down the U.S. when COVID hit. Why? Because it taught people how to not depend on the government, but depend on themselves. Depend on their community. Be with each other. Because at that rate, some people couldn't work. Others could. And y'all was still getting money. He still was giving y'all money to be at home. But for some people, y'all used it irresponsibly. For other people, they made a business out of it. They took that money and invested. Now, the government is shutting down again. Food stamps is going away. Now y'all got to depend on God. Or you can depend on yourself and starve. I've been going back and forth with people like, oh, we're not going to be able to eat. There's pantries out there. Oh, but we don't want that because it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. Well, then you can starve. We in a situation where you can either come together as a community or you can starve. If you can afford to go buy groceries, won't you buy enough for the people next door? People hate Trump so bad, but they're not realizing he was put in the office to shut all this down. Y'all depend on the government way too much.
That's right.
Way too much. Yes, I understand we can't afford certain things. That's why we have community. We have each other. If I got it, you got it. Start donating y'all money to the pantries. Go buy groceries, give it to the pantry so the pantry can give it out to people. Like, y'all spend y'all money on the most ridiculous things ever. Unless it's rent, car insurance, car note, cable. Well, cable don't even really matter. But just stuff that you really need, donate it to somebody who can use it.
Brings up some good points. Like to see them on TikTok getting that information out, wondering how many are actually paying attention. Joe M. says the shutdown isn't about a political disagreement. The shutdown's about exposing and stopping corrupt Democrat policies of funding programs for illegals. The SNAP food stamp program plus other welfare programs created to help poor Americans were hijacked by the Dems and used to funnel taxpayer money into the bank accounts of illegals. That's right. They, over 41 million, get paid thousands every month for housing and food. What might happen when this program is no longer funded? What will the illegals do? Will they be able to stay here or will they be forced to self-deport? The program will be retooled to help low-income Americans as it was intended versus the way it's used now to support illegals and their families. Pam Altendorf found this. Why is Minnesota refusing to give federal government our SNAP records? I think I found what the Minnesota DFL is hiding. Look at this chart showing Minnesota with a 174% SNAP issuance increase from 2020 to 2021. No other state even comes close at all. And so President Trump has tapped, according to Eric Daugherty, into tariff revenue to keep the food assistance program alive for women, infants, and children. Trump has tapped $750 million of tariff funds. The same policies Democrats promised would cause a depression are saving these programs during the Democrats' shutdown. You can't make this up. $450 million was readied on Friday on top of $300 million previously. Politico reports open the government so we don't have to do this. Wow. Let's see. What else we have? 700,000 folks, ineligible SNAP recipients, were purged from the USDA uncovering widespread food stamp fraud. The U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, joined Fox News on Sunday, addressed the American people about the USDA's massive effort to combat fraud in the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Rollins said that the Trump administration sent letters to all governors prohibiting illegal aliens from accessing benefits, with a historic request for state data to be audited alongside the Department of Government Efficiency. She said only 29 states cooperated, of course, and we've talked about that at length.
The first thing I did was grab my phone and call, and when I heard $0, my chest went into my throat.
Maggie Aragon has been a SNAP recipient for more than 3 decades. Even with these benefits, she says she also relies on food banks to get enough food.
I have depended on those benefits since the 1990s, and it's detrimental to my life if I don't get them.
There are more than 460,000 New Mexicans using SNAP benefits. Tonight, some of them telling us they don't have those right now. Friday, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham announced $30 million in state funds would be used to supply SNAP users starting November 1st.
We're going to choose feeding families over politics in New Mexico. We're going to do that right now.
How about that? 3 decades in New Mexico, depending on SNAP. That's not what it was designed for. Now they're coming out. They're not even thinking twice. They're talking to the media. They're like, I've been on this thing for 30 years and I can't survive unless the government continues to give me my money, give me my support. How did they turn out like this? I don't know. Fox had a bunch of folks on, and they were asking them questions the other day, and I thought, I don't watch Fox anymore, but I get these clips. And there's a New York City liberal white woman asked what her biggest concerns are. Oh boy, here we go.
I think what's really important and standing out for me right now is if we can take ourselves like a high level, like not say immigration, not say economy, not say all the hot talking points, and just ask ourselves, how are we treating our neighbors? Like, how are we treating one another? And is it okay that yesterday, on Saturday, 42 million of our neighbors no longer can feed themselves? Is it okay that our neighbors are getting taken off the streets by ICE? Is it okay that gender-affirming care is being taken from young people who really need it to survive? Is it okay that the Supreme Court has now justified racial profiling? That's not how I want to treat my neighbor.
She asked questions. Does she want answers? Is it okay that illegal aliens are taken off the streets, the ones that have been committing crimes especially? Of course it is. Is it okay to stop the kids from getting their gender-affirming care, from getting their private parts cut up like Frankenstein movies? Oh my goodness. Is it okay that 42 million Americans, they're out there, they don't get their food? No, they're people. Half of them should not be taking those benefits. And by the way, if you're working and you're paying taxes, where's your money going? My goodness. Amanda needs help. It really does strike me as strange how these folks are. Dan Scavino posted a video. Justice Cummings caught this, and I can't play the audio, but you'll see I put some of this in the beginning, where President Trump was basically shown by Dan Scavino in a 29-second clip with his wife Melania, with the military, and more. That post was at 12:26. Convert it to military time, that 0026, post 26, says, think about it logically. The only ways the military fully controlled save and spread once 11.3 verifies as first marker. Guess what, folks? 11.3 happened to be yesterday. That's pretty phenomenal. I wanted to show you again, folks, that we have an amazing website, amweknow.com. Absolutely love it. You can find everything that you need about us and everything that we do. Our website actually contains all the information for social media, for our cruise that's coming up next year, March 15th through the 22nd. If you click on that link when it pops up, or if you just scroll down below, you'll notice on the website the Freedom Cruise 2026. Now, I don't show this very often, but I'll scroll down. We actually have a newsletter. You put your name and email in, and we will send out emails just about every day with updates about us, what we're up to, and more. And you're going to see that we have all of our partners. So, like, if you forget and you say, you know what, I want to get that coffee. Where do I find it? You just go to amweknow.com, go to the partners page, and you can click on it and find all of our partners there. All of them. You have amazing folks like even Bath and Body's there. Tri-Tails Beef, New Spring Wilson, all those folks are there, and we've got latest news and so much more. And another thing you're going to notice is if you click on the merch button, you're going to notice we have brand new embroidered collection we've been sharing with you, the John 14:27, Jesus Saves. And also we have Follow Me and I Will Make You Fishers of Men, Matthew 4:19. Front and back, we've got the logo on the front of some, on the back of others. You'll see those. And it's absolutely amazing the amount of products that have been coming out from our team there. We hope that you would check them out. Here's more pictures of Patriots wearing our gear. So you guys know the Mamdani thing's been playing out just about every day. Everywhere you go, you hear his name. Millions could exit New York City if Mamdani wins. That's from the National Pulse. Hundreds of thousands of New York City residents say they will leave the city if socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani wins the mayoral race. Wow. And you'll see on the bottom right, somebody put free stuff and a rat trap. Mamdani for New York City mayor. Somebody walks up, and that's what you're going to get. Socialism and all types of craziness. Now, who funded him? Linda Sarsour admits that Mamdani's rise was bankrolled by jihad-linked care groups.
Right now, I'm a little more quiet because I'm on the quiet side of this race, but I'm going to tell you that once November 4th comes around, I will tell the story. The story is not just that it's random that Zohran ascended to this place. It is our Muslim American communities. And I'll also say that it's Muslim money. The PACs that have supported Zohran, or a particular PAC that has supported Zohran, is probably over 80% of Muslim American donors in this country. High net donors, grassroots donors. And I want to make the point that the Unity and Justice Fund PAC, which is the CARE Super PAC, was the largest institutional donor to the pro-Zohran PAC in New York.
There you go. Admitting
and I'll also
how these folks actually get in. President Trump, if communist candidate Zohran Mamdani wins the election for mayor of New York City, is highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds other than the very minimum as required to my beloved first home because of the fact that as a communist, this once great city has zero chance of success or even survival. It can only get worse with a communist at the helm, and I don't want to send as president good money after bad. It is my obligation to run the nation, and it is my strong conviction that New York City will be a complete and total economic and social disaster should Mamdani win. His principles have been tested for over 1,000 years, and never once have they been successful. I would much rather see a Democrat who has had a record of success win than a communist with no experience and a record of complete and total failure. He was nothing as an assemblyman, ranked at the bottom of the class, and as mayor of potentially, again, the greatest city in the world, he has no chance to bring it back to its former glory. We must also remember this: a vote for Curtis Silwa, who looks much better without the beret, is a vote for Mamdani. Whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He's capable of it. Mamdani is not.
If Obama endorses them, then you can be 100% sure that that is the wrong option. Again, this is a spiritual battle above all else. And Obama is spiritually corrupt. I believe some crazy things about Obama that a lot of people don't want to believe yet. But I can tell you this. If he endorses a candidate, then that's God letting you know that that is the wrong candidate to go for. Obama will only endorse corruption. Obama will only endorse destruction. Obama will only endorse lies. And Obama will only endorse the people that's going to push the agenda that we just tried to stop when we voted for Donald Trump. So pay attention, because things are very black and white right now. It's very easy to see what is wrong and what is right. We've already identified Obama as the evil one. But when you see him endorsing people like Zoran Mamdani, the lady in Virginia, Gavin Newsom, understand God is making it very easy for you to see what is the wrong choice. God bless.
They're making it easy. If we're watching a movie and things are playing out the way they're supposed to, folks are waking up and they're saying, it's easy to tell now who's good and who's bad. Make up your mind, right? Elon Musk pointed something out that C3 talked about. By the numbers, the Democrats have around 50 fraudulent congressional seats due to illegals. 760,000 people per seat. 40 million illegals. That's what this is all about. Power. Every 760,000 illegals deported, the Democrats lose a seat. Elon says very important to appreciate that the debate is not about whether illegals will sway future U.S. elections due to census apportionment, but just by how much. Left-leaning organizations like Pew Research represent the low end of estimates. Joe M. said Supreme Court sides with Trump and the American people. Now 300,000 Venezuelan migrants who were protected by a leftist judge can now and will now, all capital letters, be deported. And I'd like to have a front row seat to watch every single one of them sent back home.
Well, the president is all about results, as is Secretary Noem. And really, what President Trump, Secretary Noem, and our law enforcement have been able to do in the past 270 days, despite the injunctions, despite the obstruction from sanctuary city politicians and these activist judges, is really nothing short of extraordinary. 2 million illegal aliens exiting the country. That includes 1.6 million deportations and over 500,000 deportations from our ICE and CBP officers. But we're going to be really surging resources. We have 10,000 new ICE enforcement officers are going to be hired in the coming days. So we know that we're going to continue to arrest the worst of the worst off of the streets of America's sanctuary cities and across the nation.
So folks would wonder why I keep hiring more and more ICE agents. You know, I had this discussion with somebody the other day. Man, by the time they get them all hired, and you say, well, they've only removed 2 million. If you've got 38 million left to go, folks, how long is that going to take? How long is that going to take? If you only got 80,000 to 100,000 ICE agents, if that's what they hire. And then when that's done, how many folks are in our country that somehow have work visas that are actually a danger to our country and need to be sent away? We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But these folks are heading in and they're voting. Seth Rosenberg, my experience voting in New York City, no ID required. Zoran on the ballot twice in the top row. Eric Adams, who dropped out to avoid splitting the vote, still on the ballot. He's still on there. They didn't take him off. Cuomo's in the bottom right corner, second row. Oh, wow. I can't believe how much they cheat. Then when it comes up to the next set of election, I mean, we head over to California and watch what's going on there. I don't know if you guys caught this, but old Nancy Pelosi herself, part of the old guard, will not seek re-election in 2026. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Kind of reminds you of the drop 24 on the board. Any person making statements they will not be seeking re-election was put in submission. For the betterment of the country, not all will be prosecuted and all will do as told. You will see more of this occur, not normal yet disregarded, and even on the Democrat side. So, of course, we had many Republicans already, but could she be one of them? Oh, listen to her recently.
Our founders did not want a king, so they separated the power. That's the beauty of the Constitution. Our founders did not want to have, again, how can I say this? It'll sound like I'm awful about Trump because he's just a vile creature. The worst thing on the face of the earth. But anyway.
You think he's the worst thing on the face of the earth?
I do, yeah. I do.
Why is that?
Because he's the President of the United States and he does not honor the Constitution of the United States. In fact, he's turned the Supreme Court into a rogue court. He's abolished the House of Representatives. He's chilled the press. He's scared people who are in our country legally, but making them smashing into their cars and the rest. Now,
he's vile. The Supreme Court's actually doing their job now. It's terrible. We actually had them in the palm of our hands, and we were going to get everything done to keep us in power. He turned them into a rogue court. And the House of Representatives, my goodness, they won't do what they're told anymore. They don't listen to me. I'm trying to tell them how to behave. And the press, oh my goodness, what are they scared of? They're only getting sued and winning. Trump's winning every time because they're a bunch of liars. And oh, by the way, Spitfire reminded us the dude on the right who wants Pelosi's seat, Senator Scott Wiener, I guess is what they call him, made it possible for a 24-year-old man with AIDS to do you-know-what to a 14-year-old boy and intentionally pass HIV and not end up on the offender for SEX registry or be charged with a felony for passing a deadly disease, SB 239. That same guy can identify as a woman and be transferred to a woman's prison. That guy wants to take Pelosi's seat, just in case you guys are wondering. Did you know there's a natural way to support your own stem cell activity, and it comes from high flavanol cocoa? Studies have been done to show that the flavanols in cocoa stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow like bees coming out of a beehive in your bloodstream. Harvard scientist Dr. William Lee actually backs this up.
So, studies have been done to show that the flavanols in cocoa stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow like bees in a beehive in your bloodstream, and they go out and they find wherever it needs to be repaired. If it's in your heart, they'll fix it. If it's in your liver, they'll fix it. If it's in your skin, they'll fix it. And so we can eat foods like high flavanol cocoa in order to be able to actually get the stem cells to work a little bit better. Now, how do we know this actually functions, works in people? Well, clinical studies have been done with high flavanol cocoa to show that in like men who are in their 60s with heart disease, they could actually just have 2 cups of dark chocolate hot cocoa a day for a month. Yeah. And they doubled the amount of stem cells in their bloodstream, and their circulation improved measurably. And then what's even more important and impressive is that there was a study called the Cosmos study that was completed recently that showed that eating high flavanol cocoa decreases the risk of cardiovascular death.
Yeah.
Right, over a period
like
of
a statin.
Like a statin, right. Exactly. Except made with by eating the same thing that you use to make chocolate. So we're not telling people to go out to have chocolate, which is a confection, which has got a lot of sugar and all kinds of other stuff in it. Yeah. But it's the stuff underneath it, the core of it.
That's right, dark chocolate. But here's the thing: flavanols are the good stuff found in cocoa beans, but they're usually destroyed during the chocolate making process. That's where Black Forest supplements come in. They've created the first ever high flavanol cocoa powder packed with everything your body actually needs, and it's only 20 calories. I mix it with my coffee, my protein shake. It tastes amazing. This isn't regular cocoa. It's stem cell fuel, no sugar, 20 calories. Mix it in coffee or shakes. If you feel old, slow, or just off, lazy, stem cells might be why. But this It flips the switch. 100% increase in stem cell circulation. And here's the bottom line. This is the final week to stock up. Once November 10th passes, the buy one, get one free deal will be gone for good. So if you're thinking about trying it, act now before it's gone again. Hit the link in the description or pinned comment. Grab the deal while it lasts. Take control of your health before someone else does it for you. So just to show you this, it's going to blow your mind. Approximately 3,280,000 households in Los Angeles County. Nearly 1 million households in Los Angeles are on EBT. Other people are starting to finally get it when it comes to elections and more, and how they get people to show up for all types of events, for protesting. Matt Von Swall, remember he helped a lot with North Carolina and continues to work hard there. He's been waking up a lot to many things that are going on. I believe he was Democrat before. I'm not sure exactly where he stands, but just noticed a lot of posts from him since North Carolina happened where it seems like he's been just like, hey, did you guys notice this? Did you guys notice that? Man, I didn't really watch all this. He said, I'm naturally not a conspiracy theorist. I've been in science fields, data science for over a decade, but after seeing all the evidence, you start wondering. So you see this from somebody's phone. Hey, just following up on our conversation from the No Kings protest. Just a heads up that the Wilmington City Council, Wilmington, North Carolina, right? Remember he deals with North Carolina. Election's coming. 3 Democrat candidates on the ballot. You can read about the candidates and find voting details. Each candidate will pay you $100 for your vote. How do I get paid? I can't afford my electric bill. How long till I get the money after I vote? Can you do direct deposit or does it get mailed? Here's the reply back to them. After you vote, one of our team members will meet you in her car near your polling place and pay you cash money. We can arrange transportation if needed. Just for $100. Show up, vote for the Democrat. You're like, man, I don't pay attention to politics. I don't have time. I'm working. You know, what do they do, folks? They make you work 70, 80 hours a week. You're making $8 an hour. You're trying to pay the bills. They split up your family, so you're paying child support. They're trying to mess up all of the cost of everything and make everything ridiculously expensive so you can barely eat. So they make you tired because you're barely eating. Then they tax you like crazy so you can feed all the illegals and all the folks that come in from other countries, mostly Muslim, and you're barely making it. And they say, hey, I know you're tired. Can you come over here? Like, you could use $100, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'll pay you $100 if you go in there and vote for the Democrat. There it is right on your screen. $100. They've been exposing this day after day. And once they get into power, then they don't know how to lead. And when they don't know how to lead, they don't know how to put the proper and necessary folks in charge to ensure that the cities are actually safe to be in. So here's a warning.
I went to Walmart for fruit and toothpaste and left with trauma. So let's unpack that. I get to the parking lot. I see these 3 Sprinter vans like all beside each other in the parking lot. I'm thinking like, oh, it's a, church group, whatever. Park beside them. I go in. My kids pick out their toothpaste. I get what I need. And I notice there's 2 guys behind me. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, why would they be on this aisle? But whatever. They had on backpacks. They had on earpieces. And they were on their phones. Like, the whole time. They had nothing in their basket. They didn't have a shopping cart or anything. So I thought that was a little weird. But I gave them the benefit of the doubt and moved on. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's get out of here. I go and get the fruit. And lo and behold, guys are behind us. While I'm there, I'm thinking like, oh, I'm just going to go pick up some meat for dinner, like get some stuff that I need. So I head to the back to go get the meat. And lo and behold, about 5 minutes later, I notice the guys behind us. And this time, kind of out of like the corner of my eye, I see one of them like take a picture. And it caught me off guard. And so I swung around really fast. And he immediately like puts his phone away and turns his shoulder. So at this point, I'm thinking like, these people want my kids. I start freaking out, red flags everywhere. I kind of decide to test it, which was not smart, but I go down a random aisle, the makeup aisle, and I start playing with mascara and like pretending that I'm looking at mascara just to see if they'll follow. Sure enough, they did. Now, what are 2 grown men with earpieces and backpacks, no buggy, no basket? doing in the makeup section of Walmart. So I immediately text my husband. I'm freaking out. I tell him everything, and he's like, hold tight, I'll be there in 5 seconds. We live like 5 minutes from this Walmart. And granted, it's on like a really nice side of town. So he comes, and as soon as he walks in, he locks eyes with these guys, and they run off. We go together, and we go tell a store associate. The store associate's like, let's get security. We're going to walk you guys out. Apologize. They were really, really sweet. Well, by the time we got security involved, the guys had already fled, and all 3 Sprinter vans had left the parking lot. Security suggested that we follow a police report, so we did. And I told, the officers that I felt safe there, and that was a Walmart that I always go to. And it's on a really nice side of town. And he said that trafficking is more prevalent in areas where moms feel safe because they let their guard down. I don't tell the story to scare you, but to just say, moms, trust your gut. And if something feels off, it probably is. And if you can help it, try not to shop alone.
Just a warning. Always watch around you, everything that you do, everywhere you go, no matter what. I have that discussion with my family all the time. I talk to my wife, my daughter at length about these type of things when I'm not with them. And it's amazing that she had the wherewithal to keep looking around and being aware of what's going on and to call and look for help. And how do people like this end up in the cities? We don't know who they were, but, these cities, they're corrupt. You've got folks that are grabbing kids, even on the good side of town, right? But if they keep importing illegal, it's going to be hard because you're going to be dealing with the criminals from other countries that nothing's checked on their background and more. And then those that show up are going to get the protection they need, especially in New York. Brandon Straka, Zohran Mamdani, he says Zohran Mamdani wants to take $100 million from tax-paying citizens of New York to pay for lawyers for people who come to our country illegally so they can fight their deportations. He's going to increase New York City spending on immigration legal services by more than $100 million every year, bringing it to $165 million if elected. Zohran Mamdani expansions of existing programs. He's going to have the New York Immigrant Family Unity Project from $16 million to $30 million. Immigrant Opportunity Initiative from $20 million to $40 million. Additional hiring 200 lawyers for the city's law department to handle pre-pandemic staffing levels and broader immigrant rights cases. New York's in big trouble if they let him in. So on the medical side, here's RFK Jr.
I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and I send my greetings to all the distinguished delegates at the Mnemonic Convention. I had hoped to be with you today, but the government shutdown means that I couldn't do that. The Mnemonic Convention was born from a shared moral conviction that no human being should suffer from exposure to mercury. You came together to protect future generations from this potent neurotoxin, and I'm looking forward to continued progress. Article 4 of the convention calls on parties to cut mercury use by phasing out listed mercury-added products. But in 2010, as the treaty took shape, negotiators made a major exception. Thimerosal-containing vaccines were carved out of the regulation. The same treaty that began to phase out mercury in lamps and cosmetics chose to leave it in products injected into babies, pregnant women, and the most vulnerable among us. We have to ask why. Why do we hold a double standard for mercury? Why do we call it dangerous in batteries, in over-the-counter medications and makeup, but acceptable in vaccines and dental fillings? Thimerosal is a mercury-based preservative that has never undergone proper safety testing in humans. Hundreds of peer-reviewed studies identify it as a potent neurotoxin, a mutagen, a carcinogen, and an endocrine disruptor. Thimerosal's own label requires it to be treated as hazardous material and warns against ingestion. There is not a single study that proves it's safe. That's why in July of this year, the United States closed the final chapter on the use of thimerosal as a vaccine preservative, something that should have happened years ago. I want to be clear. It's inexcusable that governments around the world still allow mercury-based compounds in healthcare when safe alternatives exist. Now that America has removed mercury from all vaccines, I call on every global health authority and every party to this convention to do the same. Manufacturers have confirmed that they can produce mercury-free, single-dose vaccines without interrupting supply. There is no excuse for inaction or holding stubbornly to the status quo. Let's honor and protect humanity and our children and creation from mercury, and let's act in the true spirit of the Minamata Convention, the integrity of this historic treaty, and to ensure that no child anywhere in the world is ever exposed to this deadly neurotoxin again.
Mercury removed from vaccines everywhere in the world. Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, it's great to have him back on the front lines, isn't it? Listen to this.
Have you asked yourself why there are ads on TV for pharmaceutical products that maybe 3 people on Earth really need? Sometimes literally, like I saw an ad once for it was an airport, a huge ad. I don't know how much it cost the pharmaceutical company to put it there for a cancer that 50 people a year get. Who are they advertising to? What is the purpose of those ads? The purpose of those ads are to make sure that the media where they put those ads do not criticize the pharmaceutical companies in ways that they otherwise would do. Right? Essentially, it's a bribe. So the press then serves large political interests and large corporate interests. It's a recipe for when there is a mass formation, that for that mass formation to be to be supported over and over and over again.
How about that? Keep learning more about the medical side. Keep growing day after day. Things that we would have never known before had this president not made it into office. Observing consciousness, Trump has been telling us since day one of tariffs that the entire economy was going to change. Tariffs cut out deep state from the money flow. Tariffs mean we can eliminate the IRS. Tariffs mean that income taxes may be eliminated completely. And that huge statement, President Trump hinted at potential rebate for Americans. Remember this?
And don't you feel it, Mr. President, with all of that revenue coming in tens of billions of dollars, do you think there is the possibility of a rebate to the American public in terms of all of that money?
We're thinking about that, actually. We have so much money coming in, we're thinking about a little rebate, but the big thing we want to do is pay down debt. But we're thinking about a rebate. That's a very good question. You just made a lot of news. We're thinking about a rebate because we have so much money coming in from tariffs that a little rebate for people of a certain income level might be very nice.
How about that? Sometimes I wonder if they throw these questions at the reporter and say, hey, ask this one. Ask this one. Joe Lang, I think Trump's plan is simple and brilliant. He's not playing by the old rules because he's in control. The Achilles heel of the entire world debt system is the world's reserve currency. Hillary was never supposed to lose. The enemy was never supposed to lose control of the Federal Reserve and the world's reserve currency. Trump used the enemy's COVID operation as the excuse to declare an emergency. He then rolled the Federal Reserve into the Treasury, which the president controls. The Fed has been doing his bidding ever since. The fight between Trump and Powell is a show. Powell is slow walking interest rates on purpose to help time things. An important Supreme Court decision is coming, which will set precedent that Trump has the power to fire Powell and anybody else at the Federal Reserve. That's an important safeguard for the future in case another central bank is installed after the Federal Reserve is dismantled. Trump is bankrupting the entire financial system by massively increasing government spending. He's maxing out the Federal Reserve credit card to help the American people during this transition and to help rebuild America. The push for AI is to help build the new electric grid that will massively increase electric supply. That's important, and it isn't just about supplying power for AI data centers. It's also about increasing electricity supply in order to put everything, data, on blockchain technology, all data. We're moving from a centralized financial system controlled by central banks to a decentralized system that is transparent, protects sovereignty, and prevents corruption. That's why Trump is pushing stablecoins so hard. And Congress has already passed legislation to implement this new blockchain system. But what most people have missed is that New York has passed laws to force Wall Street banks to implement blockchain technology and prepare for stablecoins. They are already implementing this plan. As center of the world's financial system, the entire world will be forced to also implement blockchain technology in order to do business on Wall Street. We see governments, central banks, and commercial banks in a mad rush to implement stablecoins and blockchain technology. And the banks are in panic because they will no longer have a monopoly over the currency because decentralized finance companies are already competing with them using stablecoins. And Trump, he's forcing the World Bank to a gold standard by massively increasing the debt and slapping tariffs on countries. Trump is forcing them to dump treasuries, which forces the Fed to buy the debt instead. The Trump capitulation tour in his first term changed everything. There's a reason why Basel III was implemented and gold was declared a Tier 1 asset again. We're already moving the World Bank to a gold standard again. Central banks have been buying record numbers of gold for over 4 years, and now just recently, gold has overtaken U.S. Treasuries as the largest reserve holdings for central banks. Central banks like India are quickly repatriating their gold from London, and gold has been flooding from London to New York since Trump was inaugurated again. A record amount of COMEX traders in New York are suddenly demanding physical delivery instead of fiat cash. The fiat system is already being replaced within the world's financial system. We're moving towards the moment when Trump announces a new gold-backed dollar stablecoin, which will quickly end the fiat dollar. Red states are already preparing by making gold and silver legal tender again. According to the Constitution, only gold and silver are real money, and Trump is backing us, taking us back to the Constitution. Timing's everything. The transformation is already in progress, and it will be Trump's decision as to when he wants to revalue our gold reserve and implement a new gold-backed dollar. I think he's waiting for the next bank run. That's why I tell people to watch silver. And we hear Dr. Kirk Elliott every single week on our show. On Saturday, we released another one, Gold Gains as Fed Trims the Rates. He has a prediction in this video that is phenomenal. You don't want to miss it on where silver he believes it's going to be by the end of this year and by the middle of next year, by spring of next year. You don't want to miss it. It's absolutely phenomenal how he continues to provide support for all of us here at And We Know. You can reach out to him, andweknow.com/gold. It's in the description box below. And man, you'll be waking up to a lot of things going on. You don't want to miss it. Many of your lives have changed. I've received your emails too. Hey, thanks LT for these videos. My income, my IRA has actually doubled since I jumped on board with you guys. And I love seeing reports like that. Also like seeing this. For those that think nothing is happening, think again, says Ultra Magadine Erickson. Mississippi law enforcement caught working with the cartel. 20 officers indicted for aiding drug smuggling into America. Drug smuggling. A video was put out by Dilly Team, and I can't play the audio on this particular video clip, but I'll play it for you, basically showing you what happens when folks get addicted to drugs. And it breaks your heart, folks, and this is why boats are getting blown up. You hear people say, oh, those poor folks on the boats, they're getting blown to smithereens. I've actually saw this, and I'll just say this now I'm thinking about it. My YouTube, right? A lot of YouTube channels are getting turned back on again, right? And there was a channel that was turned back on, and he ended up back on my, when I was on YouTube, I was clicking through, and I was like, whoa, I remember this guy. He has long hair, and He was a really big Trump supporter back in the day. And then I was like watching him and said, when did he turn completely against President Trump and everything that he's doing? I was like, and he was even saying, yeah, you know how he's blowing boats up off the coast, that what kind of president is that? But I was like, what is he one of those that was a plant to get a lot of followers and all of a sudden he flipped because he's upset? I mean, it was off the charts. I mean, I'm all about making sure that we talk to others and we share and we ask questions. Yeah, we don't worship President Trump, and there's going to be times where we're disagreeing with him, especially when he makes comments that we don't appreciate, and we make sure he knows. But I tell you what, I've personally had to deal with this in many levels with drugs and what's happened to people around my life, loved ones and more. It destroys lives. It ruins the very fabric of our family and society. And these folks that are getting blown to smithereens, that are bringing in drugs that are killing hundreds of thousands of our people, that are filling up our streets with the homeless. These are human beings. This is our fellow man. The videos that you're looking at of these homeless people breaks my heart. And a lot of them are there because one day they took some drugs, maybe when they're in high school or college, and the next thing you know, they're taking some more, and then they're addicted. Before you know it, they're getting another hit, and they might be working in corporate world, and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but it just gets melted away, and they've got families, and the next thing you know, you talk to some of them, you find out they had lives. They're destroyed, and they live one day at a time. Mississippi law enforcement caught working with cartel, aiding drug smuggling into America. Good. Dan Scavino Jr. posted this. Don't show this to the left. It's a picture of President Trump's hotel connected to the White House. If you want to go to the White House, hey, go to Trump Hotel and stay there, and then you can come to the White House for your visit. Scavino on Truth says, DC Lidstone, don't show this to the left. 2017 Eastern Standard Time. Blind Eyes in the Sky. Shall we play a game? Wow, there's the sky. There's the sky. Great connection, DC. We're going to see DC on the cruise for those that watch his show. Another catch from Grasshopper17, who's also going to be on the cruise with us. Get a chance to meet him. He connected this, Shall We Play a Game, Blind Eyes in the Sky also, and added this. From the 2126 on the TO number up the top left. How do you know when something very big is about to drop? Ready the memes. FISA corruption. You have more than you know. Keep up the good fight. We stand together. At Jack Dorsey. Call me. Mainstream media. Do you know that we know? Do you know that we see all? Do you know that we hear all? Fear the storm. Nobody playing the game gets a free pass. Nobody. Remember, Blind Eyes in the Sky, shall we play a game? That game of fear that they play against all of us. A reminder from Julie Donuts, producer of Leave the World Behind Obama, a movie inciting civil war, 2023. Nuremberg, produced by We the People, executed by the military, coming this November 7th, 2025. There are no coincidences at all. None. No coincidence. And as we continue to move forward in this battle of information, and we realize how many have infiltrated our country, how many are in positions of influence around us day in and day out, social media and more. James Madison said, if our nation is ever taken over, it will be taken over from within. While this is playing out, and we know and realize the military is the only way, the U.S. Navy posted Blue-Green Team Readiness. 3 U.S. Navy and U.S. Marine Corps Marine Expeditionary Unit, ready, trained, and poised for rapid response, delivering unmatched power and flexibility worldwide. And they put out pictures of this. And if you're listening instead of watching, you have photos of a military helicopter. You've got some boats on the water doing some tactical ops. They carry military vehicles. I've been on those, and for the life of me, folks, I can't remember the name of that. Please, some of the guys in the Navy, Marine Corps, don't get upset with me at this very moment. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank. It's an amazing. I've been on it. But the main photo is a picture of, looks like Marines. And they positioned all of them in order. And how many are in that picture? 17. Not 18, not 16. 17 of them standing there. With the reminder, the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps, ready, trained, and poised for rapid response. Ready and trained. We're ready to go. Whatever plays out. We've got marching orders. Let us know when, and we'll make sure that it happens. And that it happens quick. Can you sense something is going on, folks? Do you have this ability to understand now, even more so, how things are getting prepped for the storm that we're in now? I sense it even more so. And I look forward to seeing how they're going to unveil it each and every day. Let's pray that we would continue to watch the good guys defeat the evil.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you once again for your continued amazing guidance of our lives. Thank you for allowing us to have these platforms to share information. And we ask for your continued help in finding those things that need to be said and put out to the public, to the many millions that are listening day in and day out. Help us to discern also, Heavenly Father, who's on the good side of information war and who's on the bad side. We are so confused now with so much information playing out before our very eyes of people that 1 minute seem to be on the side of getting good information out about good people and what they're doing. Then the next moment they flip, and we're just, we know we're in a battle of information war that is beyond anything we've ever seen before. We also need help with our lives and staying in connection with you. Help us with all of the things that we have to deal with our neighbors, our family, and friends, that you give us the right words and proper attitude with them. Oh, how we need that. Help us to, even if we want to look at our neighbor or somebody that needs help with food during this time, may you please give us the right mindset in handling those in our daily lives. We certainly know that many are listening in that need help, and they're crying out to you now, and you hear them. For added protection for those in the front lines, for a military standing at the ready, as this evil has been embedded for hundreds of years, it seems. We ask that this season would come to an end, and we'd start looking at a bright future, that's for sure. We bring this all before your throne in the name of Jesus Christ, your Son. Amen and amen. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in. Been a strange week, right, already, and we just hope to see some more things play out this month of November. We are looking forward to how things will play out going into December and also into the new year. It is certainly exciting to have the right people in power at the right time. For now, it's LT. Semper Fi, with them we know. Signing out.
Yes, just like the indictment said, the story is about Hillary Clinton's email, so it backs up the government's case that Comey was authorizing leaks to through his staff to reporters concerning a Hillary Clinton case, just like they argued.
So pay attention, because things are very black and white right now. It's very easy to see what is wrong and what is right. We've already identified Obama as the evil one.